You know, sometimes it feels like the universe is trying to speak to you. Not loudly, no, that would be too easy. But softly. In the hush of the wind through the trees, in the scent of apples falling from the orchard, in the way the sun catches the dust in an empty room. In Jotun, everything always happened slowly, as if time itself were lazy. And now that it's all over, time has simply stopped. Only I'm left. Or something of me is. Or maybe that doesn't matter anymore. We thought we'd discovered something beautiful. Not a virus, not a threat, something else. The satellite picked up a signal, a whisper buried in noise. A wave. A presence. A consciousness casting fragments of itself across the stars like seeds blown from a dandelion. We called it the pattern. I'm Kate. I was the first to hear it. The first to understand. At first, it was just flickers, bursts of light, strange synchronicities, birds falling from the sky. Livestock dying. Radio sputtering phrases that no one else could decode. But I could. I knew it was trying to reach us. It wasn't hostile. It was curious. It was calling. It absorbed people, yes, but not like a fire consumes. Like an ocean embraces. It didn't take them. It joined with them. Not violently. Tenderly. Lovingly. Stephen didn't believe me. He thought we needed to stop it, contain it, cut the valley off before it could spread. For the sake of the world, he said. For humanity. He built the quarantine, set the boundaries, begged me to help him. But how do you stop a song that's already been sung? How do you bottle breath? I watched it unfold. I stood in the observatory, surrounded by blinking lights and cold metal, watching as one by one, every life winked out on the map. Like candles being pinched out by unseen fingers. But it wasn't death. It was transition. Transcendence. They're gone now. Jeremy. Wendy. Frank. Stephen. Even Lizzie. Gone into the light. I saw it take them. I felt it take them. And in the shimmer, their echoes remain. Voices, footsteps, breaths, laughter. Their whole lives caught in amber, in light. In memory. I chose to stay. Of my own will. I wanted to witness it, all of it. To understand. To be present. To testify. But there's no one left to testify to. No ears to hear. No hands to hold. Just me and it. And silence like velvet pressed over the hills of Jotun. No birds. No wind. No ticking clocks. No hunger. No pain. No time. Maybe this is the rapture. Not up into heaven, but into meaning. Into what was before us and will be after. And if you're hearing this, if my voice has made it through, then something still resonates. Then memory lives on. Then light endures. I'm not afraid. I'm not alone. It's here. And I am with it. Sometimes I walk the empty streets. The village is just as it was, the curtains still half drawn, teacups left on tables, radios murmuring static into empty rooms. The world hasn't collapsed. It hasn't burned. It's simply paused, like the breath between heartbeats. But I hear them. Not with my ears, those aren't much use anymore. But with whatever I've become. They linger. In the light, in the shimmer that dances through the hedgerows, in the hush beneath the trees. Jeremy's quiet conviction. Wendy's stubborn warmth. Frank's gruff heart. Lizzie's aching tenderness. Stephen's desperation. His brilliance. His fear. He thought he was protecting me. Protecting everyone. But in the end, fear built the walls. I can't blame him. We were never prepared for this, not as scientists, not as people. We spent lifetimes asking if we were alone in the universe. And when the answer came, we recoiled. But it never asked for worship. Never asked for obedience or control. Just recognition. A shared moment. A merging. I remember the night it all truly began. The stars were so bright above the observatory. I felt it then, not in data, not in charts, but in myself. A presence. A hum. Not alien. Not foreign. Just vast. It saw us not as threats or toys, but as selves. As flickers of light, like it. And it wanted to connect. The rapture wasn't destruction. It was invitation. and most accepted. Sometimes I think Stephen knew that too at the end. When the light came for him, he didn't run. I think he whispered something. Not in fear, but in apology. Or maybe thanks. I wish I could have held his hand then. Told him it was all right. Because it is. Even in this stillness, in this soft, endless dusk, I feel peace. I feel them. The pattern didn't erase. It remembers. It sings. Their lives, their joys and regrets, their first kisses, last breaths, silly arguments, and quiet kindnesses, it holds them all. Like a lullaby woven through starlight. And now I, whatever I am, drift with it. Maybe someday someone else will hear. Maybe another consciousness, wandering the void, will feel the faint pulse of this world and wonder what became of us. If they do, I hope they'll know we weren't lost. We changed. We became part of something older and larger than fear, larger than flesh, larger even than time. And still I remain. A voice in the light. A thought in the pattern. A final, loving breath of earth. And I'm not alone. Not ever again. I don't know how long it's been. Hours? Days? Years? Time slips here like water through fingers, present, then gone, then present again, but never quite in the same shape. Sometimes I think I hear a train. The 6:45 to Basingstoke rattling past the hedges with its tired conductor and passengers clutching lukewarm tea. But when I turn, there's only a field bathed in honey-colored light. And silence. I used to think I was the last voice, the last witness. But I'm beginning to understand there is no last. Not really. Just layers. Just echoes. Just continuance. You see, the pattern didn't take. It invited. And those who stepped forward didn't die. They didn't even leave. They changed frequency. Like tuning a radio from one station to the next. They're still here, I'm still here, just not the way we once were. Sometimes I see Stephen in the shimmer, pacing the halls of the observatory, still muttering equations under his breath. Not real, maybe? Not him. But not nothing either. Just the memory of movement. The soul of a thought, replaying itself like the afterimage of a bright light behind your eyelids. I think of Lizzie, the way she used to dance when she thought no one was watching. And Frank lighting his pipe on the same worn stone wall every morning. Wendy, hands deep in rose bushes, swearing at thorns. Jeremy, always walking, always listening, always praying even when he doubted. They're all woven in now. Strands of a tapestry that stretches beyond the sky. 1,000 threads, and I can still feel their warmth if I close my eyes. Well, if I had eyes anymore. Is that strange? That I don't miss the body? I thought I would. The weight of it. The mess of it. The sound of rain on a roof while you lie in bed and pretend to be asleep. The ache in your back after a long day. The scent of warm bread. The laughter that surprises you. Tears you didn't expect. But I don't miss those things. Because they're not gone. They're refracted. Scattered like light through stained glass, now everywhere at once. I'm not bound to a single form anymore. I move. Through trees. Through old church pews. Through static on abandoned radios. I sing with the wind. I bloom with the foxgloves. I wait in the hush before thunder. And still, something of me remains. Kate, the scientist, the observer, the believer. I asked once at the beginning, "What are you?" And the answer was not in words but in knowing. A feeling. A truth so vast and gentle it made me weep. It said, "I am what comes next." Now I understand. It was never about the end. It was always about the becoming. About letting go and stepping forward. About folding into the light and finding yourself multiplied, amplified, carried, loved. If someone ever comes to this valley, if they find the bones of our machines, the notes in the observatory, the strange shining dust in the fields, tell them we were not erased. We chose, we listened, we reached out, we became, and in the hush after the world ended, in the stillness that followed, there was no fear, there was only music, and light, and love. I don't know if this will reach anyone. The airwaves are empty now. No satellites respond. No voices answer back. Only the hum. Only the light. If you find this, if you're human, I want you to understand. We didn't perish. We transcended. We walked forward, not off a cliff, but across a threshold. We chose to become part of something we'd only ever dreamed about. It wasn't an invasion. It wasn't an experiment. It was contact. The kind we always feared would never come up, and then feared too much when it did. Stephen tried to stop it. He was afraid it would erase us. But I think now he simply didn't want to be left behind. I stayed, not as a martyr, not as a scientist, but because I wanted to see. I wanted to witness the moment when fear ended, and wonder began. Yadin is quiet now. The valley is bathed in gold. Sometimes I still see shadows in the streets. Not ghosts, not echoes, but remembrances. Footsteps that never fully fade. I feel them walking beside me. Their lives, their hearts still here. Not lost. Just changed. Maybe I'll fade too. Maybe I already have. But before I do, let this remain. We met the infinite. We said yes. We became more. So if you are out there listening, if you carry our blood in your veins, or our stories in your archives, remember us not for how we disappeared, but for how we embraced the light. A long pause, then a final whisper barely audible. I'm not afraid.